This is one example of how this assignment could have been completed for full credit. I chose to use an Excel spreadsheet to do my calculations. I like the Excel spreadsheet because I can plug the numbers in and I know that the calculations will be correct. This also could have been done in a Word document as a chart. As you'll notice, one of the things you were being graded on was that the spreadsheet was clear, logical, easy to read, and not cluttered. And I think this spreadsheet is. If you were to print this out, there wouldn't be the grid lines that you see here. But we can see that the columns are clearly labeled for each company. The calculations are clearly put in, and we can see the answers. So now let's look at the questions that were part of this assignment and go through the answers. All right, the first question was asking, as a supplier, who would you choose to extend trade credit to? Well, as a supplier, my main concern if I'm extending trade credit is the company's ability to pay me back in the short term. The current ratio, a liquidity ratio, shows the firm's ability to meet their short-term obligations. This is the ratio I should be considering when I'm answering this question. It really is the only important thing to worry about. So in choosing between Jones and Smith, I would extend credit to Smith. We can see here that his current ratio is higher than Jones. This means for every dollar of current liabilities, they have $2.50 of current assets. This is better than Jones. I have a better chance of getting paid. The second question was asking, if you had to choose who to invest in, who would you choose? Well, as an investor, I want to look at more than just their ability to pay their short-term liabilities. I want to look at the company's overall financial performance. So I'll look at their profitability ratios. I'll look at their activity ratios, which show us how effectively management is using the firm's resources. And I also want to consider how much debt they have, which would be the leverage ratios or debt ratios. A heavily leveraged company, one with a lot of debt, can be riskier. All right, so when we look at the numbers here, we look at the gross profit margin, we see that it's the same for both companies. So we don't need to consider gross profit margin in making our decision. So let's look at net profit margin. We see that the net profit margin for Jones is better than the net profit margin for Smith. So Jones is stronger here. They also have a better inventory turnover ratio. If we look, they turn over their inventory 15 times a year compared to Smith that only turns it over 8 times a year. I say only, but 8 times a year is still pretty good. Smith has a higher return on equity, but also a higher debt ratio. Let's look at the debt. Over half of their financing comes from debt, as opposed to Jones, which is 36%. Leverage can increase returns, but makes the investment riskier. That's why the return on equity might be higher. Since I don't want that added risk, I'm choosing Jones Corporation for my investment. Please note, there is no wrong answer here. It's just if your analysis supports your answer. Please take a look at this, and I hope that it helps you in studying for the exam and understanding more about ratio analysis and how important this is for companies when they make decisions.